We're back in our Honda Pilot microcamper for the summer, sleeping in our SUV and exploring as much as we can. But if we want to stay out here for as long as possible, we really need to stretch our money. So how can we spend as little as possible so we can stay on the road for as long as we want? Hi, I'm Emily.
And I'm Chris, and we travel the world full-time.
This summer, we're traveling in our Honda Pilot microcamper in beautiful British Columbia.
By sleeping in our SUV and finding ways to save money on the road, we can stay out a lot longer and see a lot more.
So here are 8 ways to save money when you're on a road trip.
And please share the things you do to keep your travel costs down in the comments.
Category number 1, accommodations. When we're on a road trip, we definitely don't want to have to be paying for a place to sleep every night. So we sleep in our SUV microcamper in free camp spots. An $80 motel or a $30 camp spot might not seem like a lot at the beginning, but if you're spending your entire summer on the road, then this can add up to thousands of dollars.
By sleeping in our SUV and finding free spots to camp, we're able to travel without adding the cost of nightly accommodations. We did an entire video on how to camp for free, so definitely watch that for more information. But it essentially comes down to finding public lands where you can park your car overnight, or taking advantage of rest areas and big box store parking lots. By finding free spots to camp, we can stay on the road as long as we want without added cost each night.
Category number 2, food. When you're on the road, there are a bunch of different ways to eat. Let's start with the most expensive and work our way down to the cheapest.
The most expensive, but often the most tempting way to eat is by going out. So how much would a meal cost us here at McDonald's in British Columbia? Wow, $25 for one meal is a lot. If we did that every day, it would cost us $750 in 1 month. And it wouldn't even be healthy. Another option that's less expensive and also tempting is to pick up pre-made food at the grocery store. Let's see how much that would cost us. This pre-made meal is $10, and this simple tuna sandwich is $7. Both of these options are pretty expensive, so let's see how much it would cost us to make the meal. This loaf of bread is $3.99 and would give us about 7 sandwiches. A can of tuna costs $2.50 for 2 sandwiches, lettuce is $1.99 for a full head, and a jar of mayo costs another $3.99. So by our calculations, making 1 sandwich would cost about $2 instead of paying $7 for the same pre-made one.
And we can also get veggies and healthier items so we have the energy to do the hiking and activities we want to do. And another quick tip. If you're going to a less populated area, remember to stock up on your groceries ahead of time. That way you can avoid paying the high prices for low selection at tiny grocery stores. Those tiny shops are fun to stop in, but just for snacks and stuff.
Category number 3, gas prices. Unfortunately, gas is expensive. Traveling in our Honda Pilot definitely saves us money on gas compared to a bigger camper, but it still adds up really quickly. The biggest way we can save money on gas is by using Google gas prices and gas pricing apps to figure out where on our route the prices are the lowest.
And we often forget to do this, but we really try hard to remember. We need to fill up with gas before we go into really remote areas so we can avoid paying those sky-high gas prices at the remote gas stations. Category number 4, activities. Activities on road trips can really add up. We try and stick to free activities like swimming or hiking, and if we choose to do a more expensive activity, it's usually because we planned it out and we really want to do it.
Another thing we often buy is a National Parks Pass. One for the American parks will run $109 US per vehicle, and one for the Canadian parks is $70 Canadian for an individual or $145 Canadian per family. These passes get us into all the parks for an entire year, so we get to explore them as much as we want.
Category number 5. Showers. Since we like to do lots of hiking and exploring, regular bathing is really important to us. No one wants to go to bed all sweaty and gross. We often just bathe under our tent, which gives us a pretty good feeling of clean. We did an entire video on how to do that, so make sure to check it out. But sometimes we just want a hot shower. Shower prices can vary so much. We've seen showers for as little as 75 cents, all the way up to $10 and even more. To save money, we usually only shower about once a week, and if it's an option, we try and shower together. We also look for showers at state-run parks, which are usually cheaper than showering at truck stops.
Category number 6, digital nomad work. If you're on the road for months at a time, you might also be working while you're away. so you'll need a comfortable place to sit with reliable Wi-Fi. Coffee shops are one way to do this, but then you need to spend money on a coffee each time you go to work. So instead, our favorite spots to work are public libraries.
And libraries aren't those super quiet places they once were. Many libraries are now places people are hanging out, chatting on calls, and running video conference meetings. If the library has that kind of vibe, then I feel comfortable taking my meetings from there. And if not, I might work inside the library, but go out to our vehicle to take the calls and meetings.
Category number 7, laundry. Emily and I do our laundry at laundromats about once a week. Hand washing would be a cheaper way to go, but we find our clothes get a lot cleaner when we do them at a laundromat. And as you know, we like to hike, so our clothes can get pretty sweaty. We use Google and travel apps to shop around for the cheapest places to do laundry. And we carry our own full-sized laundry detergent so we don't have to pay for expensive one-load boxes.
Category number 8, water. Buying water can be really expensive, so we only do it as a last resort. We look for potable water fill-ups at parks, gas stations, and even sandy dump stations. Sandy dumps usually charge for waste disposal, but they often do not charge for potable water. You just might need a connector hose to access it. Plus, we kind of like the looks we get when we pull into a sandy dump station in our tiny Honda Pilot microcamper.
Just make sure, no matter where you're filling up, parks, gas stations, sandy dumps, it doesn't matter, make sure that your water is potable. And if we're somewhere with no access to free water, our next best option is to find a grocer with a water refill station, where we can fill our water jugs for just a few dollars. It's not ideal, but better than buying expensive water jugs.
And those are 8 ways to save money when you're on a road trip so you can stay out and explore longer. If you have other ideas, please share them with us in the comments. That's our video for today, and we'll see you in the next one.